Well, here we are. I've actually been thinking recently about the Second Amendment due to a lot of the controversy going around it. And I'm going to put my statement on this. A president shouldn't be able to use executive orders to affect the United States Constitution because if they were to do that, then they would just be able to completely rewrite the Constitution. And I see that the Supreme Court is talking about it, about taking on Second Amendment cases. But my point of perspective is on these mass shootings, is with everyone blaming the gun used rather than the individual. The individual is what you need to look at rather than the firearm used. Because in a lot of instances, there's been instances where they blamed an AR 15 prior to knowing that it was not an AR 15. But I don't understand how they can continuously do that. I myself think there's other underlying issues that are causing a lot of these mass shootings. The other part is there really hasn't been any other school shootings recently. I'm gonna say it's because I think people have wised up and realized, hey, there's other things that we need to take care of instead of blaming firearms for school shootings. Especially when you got students shooting up schools. In my opinion, that when it comes to students shooting up schools, there's more of a issue with bullying. And I'm gonna say it this way: a student coming in with a firearm, people say, "Oh, you obtained it legally." I go, taking it from your parents is not legal. Not obtaining it legally, because if you take it, if it's actually not in that person's name, and they take it from someone else, even if it's their parents, it's obtained illegally. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You take it from someone else, it's illegally. Yeah, and I've got. I'm gonna stay away from the election stuff because it's just a crap shoot, in my opinion. People want it one way and people want it another. I mean, if I were to go off on that, it might take a whole video. I digress. But the Constitution says shall not be infringed. I mean, yes, I understand that there's going to be issues with people obtaining firearms illegally, no matter what you do. I mean, with the state being now a constitutional carry that takes effect in July, people are always going to be concerned about, oh, what about this sale? I go, what about private sales? It's the individual's responsibility that sells the firearm to make sure that individual can carry it, can have it. But you can't just say, oh, if they get rid of this, people are going to be able to obtain firearms illegally more often. Oh no. When they go to a gun dealership, the gun dealership's still going to do a background check. Now let's get back down to the Constitution. It says the right to keep and bear arms. It does not say specific arms. What specific arms are allowed. So, not only does it protect firearms, it also affects blades, swords, blades, anything like that. Because those were considered arms before firearms. I know here in Iowa, You can't, any blade that's over 5 inches in length cannot be carried concealed. But if you are carrying it openly, you can carry quite a bit different ones. I mean, you can get people say you can carry a sword if you got a permit to carry, which actually that's what our Iowa's permit is licensed at. Said, well, not licensed, that states. It says permit to carry weapon. Actually, I'll pull it out and show you exactly what it says. It says, as you can see, Iowa non-professional permit to carry weapons. So, and it says it on the back. So, it means you can carry weapon. You can carry any kind of weapon, really. So, yeah. But it's getting to a point where I think that governments are trying to control every aspect of any kind of weapon we can carry. But right now they're more considered more viral on the firearms because they think of all these mass shootings. I mean, they jumped all over the one that involved a individual that had some connection to a Islamic extremist group. I almost want to say. I'm not gonna guarantee it, but I said extremist. So don't say I'm after all of those who have Islam as their religion. It's the extremists in the religion. But once it was shown that he was that in that area, the news coverage kind of just slowly died out. Well, news coverage just kind of died out. You know, there could be a possibility that these news organizations have a narrative they want to push. But the thing is, mass shootings have we had in the past few months? There's like a couple, but there was only a few when Trump was in office, and recently his bump stock ban was deemed unconstitutional, from what I gathered. So certain aspects are gonna be allowed. You can't ban. So it should stay since they did that. You can't get rid of pistol braces or pistol stabilizers because if bump stocks cannot be banned, pistol stabilizers cannot be banned. But you can't do this ban high capacity magazines. You can't ban silencers. There's a lot of things you shouldn't be able to ban. If you're gonna start banning stuff because it looks scary, you're just an idiot. If you don't want to own that stuff, that's fine. But you can't tell me I can't own it if I want to. For the longest time, which I still do have some issues, since I severely sprained this wrist once, I cannot hold my wrist like this for long periods of time on the barrel. When I fire my military rifle, I actually have to use that foregrip. So because it's a lot easier on my wrist. So that foregrip or pistol grip, that little grip on the front end, is very helpful. And that would be the same with the people who have sprained this wrist. If they have firearms, they can't just continuously hold their weapons like this, but if they hold, it's because they need this, because this is works better and it doesn't strain their wrist. It's something they gotta take into consideration. The bump stock help people with a single arm. Like say they were missing an arm, they stick it on a J button. That bump stock helps them keep control of it and all that. I mean, people saying that was high, made it rapid fire, but there's always going to be a lot of issues you need to take into consideration when it comes to certain devices that have been developed to assist people with slight disabilities when it comes to holding a standard firearm. I mean, I don't, as I said, that forward grip, yes, I could use that on a lot of items. Because my wrist does still have, every now and then will have pain. Since I sprained it really bad. And I'm trying to figure out this whole bullet button thing. And let's be honest, detachable magazines are nice to have because in the event that you need to change your magazine real quick or something, you can change it. Like, you put it in a magazine, while you're hunting, you fire a round, and then a new round doesn't chamber. You can drop that, you pull out that magazine, put a new magazine, and go back to hunting. I mean, springs do wear out. I mean, and banning any magazine that holds over 10 rounds, I think is pretty stupid because that would make one of my firearms illegal because the way it's designed, it only accepts a magazine that holds over 10 rounds. Unless I put like a stopper or something in there. But I'll put it this way. I'm not going to put a stopper in there just to make it compliant. Because I think that high capacity magazine ban is ridiculous. And unconstitutional. I think the assault weapon, what they want to call it, assault weapons ban, is unconstitutional. It's a semi-auto firearm, and they're just pretty much will try and demonize everybody that has one because they think they're gonna end up being a mass shooter. You know what? I bet you there's more firearms, well, AR style firearms or assault weapons out there than what are used in mass shootings. And I'm going to say it this way. Criminals are always going to find ways to break the law and get a hold of a firearm. I mean, look at the strictest, the states and cities with the strictest firearm laws there is, and tell me how often someone's getting shot there. Because I'm guaranteeing you, there's more people that get shot in these cities all year long, throughout a whole year, than all the mass shootings combined. Like all the mass shootings combined within a whole year. Yeah, more people dying. So if you take I'm pretty sure it's what's gonna happen. Is you combine the mass shootings for a year against the cities with the strictest gun laws, deaths by firearms, and you're going to see that more people die in those cities than in mass shootings. And I'm going to say this when it comes to places that request that you not bring a firearm into them. That's their prerogative. But the thing is I think they should be able to be sued in the event that someone who normally would be carrying a firearm, if they were to been able to have that firearm in that facility, and they were were trained to take out an enemy combatant, and they ended up getting shot, they should be able to sue that company because that person could have saved a lot more lives carrying their firearm inside that store or that building. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know state and capital have their own security. State and capital buildings have their own security, but like I'm talking about like stores like Walmart or Target, Kmart, Sam's Club, stuff like that. If you were to be able to have a firearm in this facility, and someone went in trying to start shooting up the place, like me, I'm military, so I would be able to take a firearm and eliminate the threat. But if I were to, in one of those places, say you can't have a firearm here, and I get shot, I should be allowed to sue them. Say, hey, if I had my firearm, I wouldn't have been shot. So it's your fault that I got shot because I could not defend myself. And the government should not be allowed protection for these companies for that. And I think individuals who were shot in mass shootings that had a permit to carry or were pretty much if they were able to carry a firearm legally into that store if the company allowed it. Okay, let me put it this way: if the individual legally was able to carry the firearm into the store, could have stopped the mass shooting if they had it. But the store said they couldn't have it, and they got shot anyway. They should be able to sue the store. I'm probably rehashing things, but it's something that needs to be thought about. Because these companies are like, oh, we're scared of firearms. We don't want people having firearms in their store because it scares the rest of the customers. If you start getting sued for that mentality, maybe you'll start thinking, hey, if we allow these individuals that are legally carrying into our stores, we won't be getting sued as much. And maybe we won't have people coming into our facilities with firearms trying to shoot up the place. Because what's going on is a lot of these places that get shot up are considered gun-free zones. A lot of places just feel like that gun-free zone, being a gun-free zone, is going to protect them. It is not. What makes people more scared is the fact that if they try to go into a store to shoot up the place, that there's a chance someone's going to shoot it. There's someone going to shoot them back. You're going to still have people that are going to try it, but a lot of those who want to go shoot up a place are going to be more scared of being shot before they can cause any damage. That's why they look for soft targets. And a lot of these places don't understand. They just made themselves a soft target when it comes to these individuals that want to shoot up the place. If you want to prevent that, you've got to make yourself a hard target, which is pretty much, making them worried that they are going to end up filled full of bullets when they enter that building. Because let's face it this way: someone walks into a store carrying a rifle, I'd have my pistol out trained on them already. if I were to see it, because I don't understand why someone would be carrying in a rifle into a store. I mean, because in the event they start raising that rifle, there's going to be 2 rounds hitting them right in the chest before they can even get a round off. Because I don't trust people. I don't trust people walking around with a rifle. Well, walking around into a store with a rifle. And let me put a thing on with it this way. I think I explained it in one video, but 5.56. Okay, that is just pretty much about the same size as a 22. You're afraid of a 22 with just more powder. I can do more damage with a pistol than a 5.56. To be honest. Because if you're using, because 9mm and higher are a lot bigger than a 5.56, because it's only like 20, like it's 223. It's the same size as a 223 round, which is roughly a little bigger than a 22, maybe a little longer. But I have the 6.5 Creedmoor, and that's actually like barely within hunting limits here in Iowa. It was like a 24.24. But you guys, it's something that needs to be understanding. I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in the Constitution. So, I can do my takes on the Constitution, and you can have your opinions. I don't care. But I shouldn't say I don't care. It's your opinion. You have the right to have it. And I have the right to have mine. And my rights, I'll be honest, my rights don't end where your opinion begins. Because the Constitution is the law of the land. And I hate to say it, but I think that Congress should not have any rights to be able to change the Bill of Rights at all. I mean, you can try with a convention of states, but that'd have to take like over 2/3, like I want to say 3/4 of the states. It should take only 3/4 of the states to do anything to adjust the Bill of Rights. The president can't do anything. The Congress can't do anything to those amendments. I think we were given these rights for certain reasons, and I am tired of people trying to destroy my First Amendment rights, because I want to call someone stupid because they do something stupid, or talk about some of the stupid stuff a president does. I mean, let me get you straight. I did vote for Trump, but I did not support the bump stock ban. I don't support any firearm bans, period. I mean, there is instances where maybe something needs to be done, like even with some of these supposed ghost guns. I mean, background checks, yeah, I can understand need to be done. It's like a company wants to sell a 80% lower or whatever. The individual needs a background check before they even get to that. I mean, they want to say it's untraceable, but how many parts on a firearm actually have a serial number? Quite a few of them actually do have serial numbers. I mean, I've looked over my rifle. There's a serial number on the barrel. There's a serial number on the chamber. In my pistol, serial number just on about everything in there. Just about on every part. The barrel's got a serial number. The upper receiver's got a serial number. The lower receiver's got serial number. But I wanted to say that, just reiterate that the Constitution, the Second Amendment, just doesn't cover firearms. Covers all arms. And I know there's a limit on things that we should be able to own, explosives and stuff like that, because let's face it, what are you gonna do with explosives? This There's no ranges for those. But yeah, she should be able to own any kind of sword or firearm that's within means. I mean, most times I don't really need a certain firearm, but I want to own it. I mean, yeah, I don't really need an AR-15, but to be honest, I'd like to own one. I thought about getting one in at least a little bit higher round to use for hunting. Because I want to go hunting, and let's face it, I don't want to have to reload constantly to be able to hunt. But I will leave you with that. The family is, though, doing well. I mean, me and the little one's got a bit of a cold going on. But other than that, things are going fine. I got drill coming up, and I'll be getting out next February. And I'm going to probably end up picking up some forging just to pass the time and have something else to do. Since I won't have the military. I mean, I'll probably make a little extra income out of it, but it's going to take a little bit of time to really get off the ground. I mean, I'll have a good chunk of the equipment to do it, just gonna have to take the time to make some blades and actually get the materials and make the blades. I've designed a blade I'd like to try to make, at least for right now. It's only gonna be about a 5-inch blade with a 4-inch handle. I mean, that way I can get the hang of it and all that. And Macy, of the father-in-law, who's been working on leather, may make some sheaths for him. And then I'll probably only start off with maybe 4 or 5 at first, and just work my way from there. Try to make more and more as I go along. But I will see you next time.